About the blood on my shoes. Hey, Stoners. Welcome to another edition of Sticks and Stones. I'm your host, Brent Elrod, coming to you from the cozy confines here on the patio at the No Shoes Bar and Grill, deep in the heart of a beautiful, beautiful Texas. It is a wonderful day. Started out in the 50s this morning. It's in the 70s right now. Went with Mrs. Sticks and Stones, and I got brother-in-law and sister-in-law in from out of town. They come from Colorado. We went on a little walk in the woods with the puppies, and it's been a great day. So now I'm just watching some football here that you can't see, so that I don't get any, like copyright stuff. And I'm looking out here. There is no copyright on this. The moon is already up. We're an hour or so from sundown. I do have the lights on just in case it gets a little dark. I'm trying to think ahead. So I am your tour guide today, and I have something that I think is really going to be a great pairing. Um, I am pairing a Nica Libre Sun-Grown Robusto with St. Remy XO French Brandy. Yes, I haven't done St. Remy, haven't done brandy in a while. It's been a couple of years, and I got to thinking, I'm like, I need to swing back around to some of those things that were in the first couple of years, like brandy and tequila and port wine. Um, and so I'm really kind of looking forward to this. I think this is going to be a great episode. So right after this, we are going to pop the cork, cut the stick, and get to toasting. Now, St. Remy XO brandy, extra old French brandy. Um, the distillery was established in 1886 by Paul-Émile Remy Martin II. That sounds like a really great name in France. It was established in the tiny village. I'm having to read this because there's no way I could remember all this. Machecoul, Machecoul, with French on it. That's all I know. After 30 years of experimenting, St. Remy launched Fine St. Remy in 1917. A perfect time to be launching a brandy right in the middle of the First World War. Uh, but that now defines St. Remy's style and character. Remy began to export their French brandy to the rest of Europe in the 1920s and then to Canada about 50 years later. Today, St. Remy proclaims itself to be the number one French brandy in the world. It is, please, I'm working here. It is 40% alcohol by volume, so 80 proof. So it is like a really, really strong wine. The composition, I really didn't think about this until I got in, and did some of these brandy pairings. And I'm like, yeah, really. I always thought of like brandy being like some kind of whiskey back when I was, not intellectual. Didn't hold my little pinky in the air, that kind of stuff. But it is just wine that's like extremely strong. The composition of this particular brandy is grapes from Burgundy, Champagne, the Rhone Valley, Languedoc, Russil, and yeah, Loire Valley, Bordeaux, and Beaujolais. Okay, I speak a little bit of German. I speak almost no French. This particular brandy is aged for 6 years. It has to be 6 years or more to qualify as XO, extra old. Let's go ahead and glass some up. There's the bottle. Yeah, this is brandy. This is not whiskey, so I won't give them shit about the screw top. All right. I'd like to shoot the crow. It really needs to go away. All right. Now, as you can see, if you are watching the live stream, it really does look a lot like a whiskey. There are several whiskeys that I've paired that has this, really deep copper kind of bronzy color. So I can see where people like me might be a little confused in the beginning, but let's push on. On the nose. I know it's great, right? I get oak, caramel, toffee, Some nice notes of vanilla. There is some notes of like orange marmalade and maybe some raisins. I mean, a lot of the things that are in the nose profile of this spirit really do kind of mimic a whiskey. All right, on the palate. Wow, Ezekiel Elliott just coughed up the ball. On the palate, I get, and it is like a whiskey. You do get a little bit of alcohol burn, so it's not like a wine in that sense. But on the palate, I get some notes of oak and caramel and toffee and raisins. Really, a lot of what's on the nose. But it is really smooth and easy drinking. There's a little bit of alcohol burn to it, but not a lot. I mean, it's only 80 proof. So it's like right at the beginning line for whiskeys. Unless you're drinking some sort of infused whiskey, it's going to be 80 or more. It's really good. I mean, really good. I can see why people have liked this. The finish is kind of a medium finish. I get some notes of like a little bit of woodiness, some caramel, a little bit of chocolate, and there's an extra part. There's an extra part of sweet there, not just the chocolate. It's a little extra sweet, but it's not like any one kind of sweet. It's just sweet. I mean, honestly, if somebody to whiskey from wine, that might be where you start. It's kind of the buffer between the two. It is really, really good. I like that. Now then, let's go on to the Nica Libre. I even in my notes here, there's at least once that I put Nico Libre, not Nica Libre. Yeah, I'm actually doing two podcasts now, so my other one is more politically oriented. It's called The Political Patriot, and you can find it on X, YouTube, and then I do it through Riverside. I don't know if you can get them on. I don't know if you can. I think Riverside is just for the recording part of it, and I'm still not even completely sure uh, if I'm sitting here talking and forgetting completely what I'm doing. Uh, I'm not even sure if it's live streaming right now. I'd go and record these. I have no idea if it was live or not. Anyway, we're not talking about that one. We're talking about this one. Um, Now, Nica Libre makes some very, very solid sticks. I mean, they do put out a good product, and this one is no exception. It's got a nice firmness to it, but it does have a little bit of give in it. So it's not too loose, it's not too tight. Some of them you press on them and they just don't move. And some of them you feel like you could squeeze them in half. This is kind of a good balance between the two. This is a Robusto. It is 5.5 by 50 on the ring gauge. The filler is all Nicaraguan long fillers. The binder is a Nicaraguan Habano, and the wrapper is a beautiful, beautiful sun-soaked Nicaraguan. Visually, it's got a really good brown to it, but there's also just you really can't maybe not be able to see it on the camera, but there's a really nice kind of just light reddish tone to it. Uh, it is a box press, but it's a rounded corners box pressed. It's not squared off. I do like that. It has minimal veining, and I can't see there's a little bit of seam right there. The seams are tight and almost invisible. I had to really, really look to get it. And it has a wonderful, wonderful, I'm going to say double cap. I don't see three lines there. Looks like a double cap. So Let's go ahead and get a nose on it. Oh, yeah. Mm. It's got a nice earthy kind of musty barnyard to it. I really like that. But there's also some chocolate undertones that gives it a little bit of sweetness on the nose. Maybe like a pinch of leather and cedar. Now I'm actually trying this, having not been in my humidor for very long. I ordered a box of these, and they've been in the humidor about a week. So I think it's probably enough time for them to acclimate. Let's go ahead and cut it. I'm going to use my Cassetti multi-cutter. It has a punch, it has a guillotine, and it has a V-cut. V-cut is my preferred method of cutting. If it's not yours, that's cool. Uh, Cigar smoking is a very individual kind of thing. Very wonderful V-cut there. Now, cold draw. It's simple, but it's got a nice chewy kind of thick, what's the word? Component to it, I guess you'd say. I get like some raisins, maybe some yogurt covered raisins, some mocha with a little bit of coffee, a little extra coffee there, because mocha is kind of supposed to be like chocolate coffee or something. I just know when I taste it, this is what I taste when I drink the mocha, but there's a little extra coffee to it. Um, and then there's also, some hints of leather and wood. It's a really nice, easy draw, not too easy, but not too tight. I'm gonna toast it up here with my Rocky Patel Envoy. I don't think they make the Envoy anymore. I think they've replaced it with, they call it the Diplomat. As you can tell, copious amounts of smoke off of this stick. I've had a couple other Nica Libres. They're kind of I'm concerned. Kind of indicative of Nicaraguan leaves, which this one is basically a puro. Um, they have a really nice like black pepper spice blast on it. That's right in the front, but then you come under with these kind of sweet and rich tones of maybe some candied cashews, like the honey roasted cashews or something, some cedar and some leather. The retro inhale has got lots of pepper in it. It's a really nice stick. And a really great smoke output on it. I mean, I just feel like I'm barely puffing on it, and it is putting out a lot of smoke for me. All right, sorry, really getting into that, and it may have been a little more than y'all wanted to see. The uh, the finish is it's kind of a medium strength. It's a medium strength cigar. I think they technically may say medium to full, but as of right now, it's a medium. The finish is it's got some really nice black pepper on the finish, and the finish doesn't last a long time, which I really like. That keeps me wanting to take another puff. Whereas if I've got that cigar coating in my mouth, I'm like, I don't need a puff right this second. I can wait a little bit. But this one, it kind of dies away fairly quickly till excuse me, there's nothing else left, and then you're ready for the next. So let's try them together. Oh yeah. That is wonderful. Man, look at how the smoke hangs in that glass. Now this has absolutely no bearing on the pairing at all. It's just something that I like to do. And just look at how that smoke just hangs in the glass. Oh, wonderful. Now, I get the caramel and the toffee and the vanilla on the brandy really kind of wraps itself around and entwines itself with the mocha and the sweetness and richness off the cashew notes on the stick. Um, I mean, I don't know if this stick, and I will, I think I'll get more into this later. I'm not going to do it right now, but uh, the stick is a very budget friendly stick. So there's that. We'll talk about more about that in a little bit. I kind of getting ahead of myself, but Dallas is out to try and kick another field goal. If I was Jerry Jones, I'd fire the general manager, which happens to be Jerry Jones. He owns it, and he's the general manager, and he may have played football in college, but he don't know shit about talent. He gave Dak a monster contract, and now he's out for the season. He's going to sit at home and draw his money. Am I surprised? No. Hmm. Still hanging there. Look at that. That is great. I love that. That is so cool. So, but anyway, um, we've got a nice. It's kind of a little bit of a wavy burn line, but it's not wild wavy. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. But we have some really nice stacks developing of gray ash. I will tap those before they fall in my lap. I was out here smoking yesterday, and sure enough, I had ash fall in my lap. I don't know. Anyway, so for those of you that are listening to the audio, I will be back about the halfway mark and give you an update. And for those of you on live stream, we have more shenanigans for you. All right. Hey, I hadn't done this in a while. I'm gonna turn the volume up on my buttons here on my audio thing. I don't know if you can hear this or not, but I forget what's what. I just have the two that I know. That's my intro music and my outro music, which I bought the rights for. So the whole No Name Blues thing, I got the rights to use that. Oh wow. Okay, I like that. And then a little drum roll. I definitely love the cash register. Not really sure where I'd use that in this show. And applause. You're welcome. You're welcome. Glad I could be. I'll be here all week. All right. That's how I feel most days, right there. That's how I feel at the end of most days. So I'm not gonna I'm not gonna worry about changing pages on this thing. I've got the Zoom PodTrack P8, I think it is. Yeah, P8 right there. And then I got the Bluetooth things that hooks up to you. Uh, so I think you all can hear the intro, outro music, all that kind of stuff. Usually you can. Sometimes you can't, and I'm not sure. Maybe I just didn't have the volume turned up enough or whatever. But so how do you all feel about the election? Did it turn out for you? Did it not? Are you one of those people on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or wherever that's shaving your head and saying you're not going to have sex for 4 years? Just feel free to say if you're one of those people in the chat. And I'm gonna have to get me a brandy snifter. This is as close as I could get. Was my Dalmore nosing glass, uh, and I love it. I really love that glass. I hardly ever use it because I'm afraid I'll break it. But it's the closest thing I have to a brandy snifter. So not a brandy sniffer, a brandy snifter. It's a big round, like goblet looking thing that's about that size. So I don't drink a lot of brandy. I've got a couple in the fridge. I don't I like them cold. or at least cool. I like all my wine chilled. I've got, I don't know, like 12 bottles of wine. There's only a couple of them open. Uh, Not a big wine drinker. I'm not a fan of the tannins in wine, the dry wine. I don't like that. I like sweet wine. Ice wine. If you've never heard of ice wine, go find it. It's a German product, but they do make it in Canada and I think New Zealand, because it has to be at a place where the climate gets cold enough to freeze grapes on the vine. Ice vine is Icewein, ice vine. Uh, and you can generally find it in half bottles at Total Wine, Specs, wherever the big liquor retailers. You're probably not going to find it at the local corner package store, but it's really good. It's got a little bit higher wine content. I mean, alcohol content in it. Not a lot. I mean, I think most wines are somewhere between 5 and 10%, and this is more like 15. But when you pour it in a glass, it's about like pouring corn syrup in the glass. Not literally. uh, it pours out liquidy just like it. But when you take a sip of it, you're like, wow, and your eyes are cross. They really will. They'll cross. Um, it is super, super sweet and comes in bottles about like that. I was doing the Political Patriot podcast a few minutes ago before I started this one, and I was drinking that. So I'd actually put all my notes. 60 and enjoying some Garrison. I had Garrison Brothers Honeydew and Rocky Patel 60 all through my notes, and I couldn't use any of them because that's not what I was drinking, and I wasn't smoking anything. So it is a really good cigar. I'm really impressed. And I've paired the St. Remy before. I had to go back to like season 2 to find my notes on it. So, you know, oh wow. No, he almost caught it. He almost caught it. Yeah. Oh yeah, they are in Dallas. Huh. I don't ever go to the. I try to stay away from Jerry World. I'd love to go see like Kenny Chesney, but that's where he plays, and oh man, I'd be pinging there. My PTSD would be off the chart. Now, if I could have Kenny like come to the No Shoes Bar and Grill and give me a private set, sitting out there on a stool with his guitar, that'd be awesome. So if any of you know him, tell him that I would love to live streaming on No Shoes Bar and Grill or no Sticks-n-Stones or the Political Patriot here from the No Shoes Bar and Grill. I was going to get all that in there before it was all over. I love the song that he says. I can't remember the name of it right off the top of my head. I'd know it in a minute, but uh, he talks about he's in a hotel in Austin, and there's only one channel on the TV, so he's watching Andy and Barney on Nick at Night. I mean, that's just like that's regular people. Dude is probably worth $1 billion, but he's just a regular guy. I mean, you think about it. He's got the whole music concert thing. Then he's got his liquor line. I mean, there's not a liquor store, even the corner places that you go to, that you can't go in and find at least, excuse me, one bottle of Blue Chair Bay. Generally, it'd be the white rum or the coconut rum, but it comes in everything. He has pineapple rum cream and banana rum cream and coconut rum cream and all these, and they're all really good. Mocha rum cream, that is a really good one. I love that. Maybe I need to do a maybe I need to do a pairing on that. Oh, damn, man, Jalen just took off. 53 seconds left before halftime. Uh, but yeah, maybe I need to do a pairing. Maybe the Indian, Indian, the Tabak Especial, the coffee infused, or the Java coffee infused. That might be a good one. I have to think about that. This is I kind of had my doubts, and I'm gonna go ahead and tap the ash on it because I'm afraid it's gonna fall all over the keyboard or the soundboard and end up screwing stuff up because I can't afford to buy another one. So far, I ain't making any money doing this, but anyway, and actually, it's burning pretty quickly. Uh, we're 25 minutes in, and I'm already getting close to the halfway mark. So, yeah, I think this is probably a 45, maybe a 50-minute cigar, which is really great because that's about all I'm willing to invest in them. You got, there's some guys that they smoke these cigars. It's like an hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half. I'm like, no, I've already lost interest. My ADD and PTSD has got me off somewhere completely different than that. Less than an hour. That's about my limit. So that and the fact that I just get tired of it. I finally am just like I'm sleepy. I just want to go, because I'm out very rarely ever just smoke a cigar. If I'm smoking a cigar, I got something to drink. Uh, and before I met Mrs. Sticks-n-Stonez, and even for a couple of years after I met Mrs. Sticks-n-Stonez, I smoked about one cigar a day. I'd come home in the afternoon after work, go out at the time I was in an apartment. I go out I lived in downtown Dallas, and I'd go out on my little patio, which was only like 3 feet by 6 feet. I had two chairs and a cooler out there, a cooler that never had anything in it, but I used it as a table. And it faced west. So I just watch the sunset, smoke a cigar and have a drink, dreaming that 3 foot by 6 foot patio balcony, whatever it was actually a beach somewhere in the Caribbean. That's the only thing that would have made it better. Other than the fact that down in the first floor of the building that I was living in, they had a really great Thai restaurant. I loved that place. It was awesome. Now then, I live way out in the suburbs. I'm like 27 miles from downtown Dallas. Every time I happen to go through downtown, I'm like, wow, that wasn't there before. That wasn't there before. The hell is that? Yeah, it's. I don't make it down there very often. I don't like people. So I love cigars. I love spirits of all kinds. And I like about a half a dozen people. So, and one dog. I love my dog. She's wonderful. She's a silver lab. If you've never heard of those, you can Google it. It is actually a chocolate lab that has a one genetic marker in its DNA that tripped one way or the other. So when they're born, they have sky blue eyes and they have silver or gray fur. And at about 12 weeks old, like 70 or 80% of them lose the eyes. And Sadie lost hers. They become somewhere in the shade of a greenish yellow, and that's where hers are. If you're really unlucky, you get one that the eyes are so yellow that they're spooky. And I was like, oh, I so hope she doesn't get those. She does. She has very pretty eyes, and she's a very lovely puppy. Say puppy. She's 4.5. But she is a sweetheart. She probably knows just about as many words as I do, except curse words. She knows what snacks are. She loves snacks. She knows what breakfast is. She knows what dinner is. She knows what squirrels. She loves squirrels. She chases squirrels and bunnies. Bunnies. She'll chase bunnies all day. Uh, we have been unfortunate in that we have had two rabbit pairs, married individuals, whatever they do, that have decided to build their nest and have their babies somewhere in our yard. And the ones that were in the backyard a couple of years ago, she didn't actually like catch any of them, but all of them managed to end up committing suicide in the pool. So yeah, I was picking bunnies out of the pool about once a week. Um, and then the one in the front yard, yeah, she is like wasn't like she just didn't know what it was. She was sniffing around in the weeds or the not the weeds but the foliage the grass foliage stuff that's in the flower beds. And she'd come up with this bunny. And she's like, what the hell is this? And you'd be like, drop it. And she'd drop it. But by that point, it was too late because they're little bunnies and it didn't take much to, I held one. It's sad, but I did. I held one of them and I petted it and I knew there was nothing I could do for it. So I just petted it and kept saying, it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. And then so uh, and it's sad, but after spending 2 tours in the combat zone, death is a little different for me than it is for everybody else. I'm willing to sit there and hold something or somebody and just give them comfort until, if there's no hope. And I know that's sad, but that's what I live with every day. I'm medicated for your protection. I have to take my wife, Mrs. had to cut me down from 60 milligrams of melatonin a night. I was so melatonined up to go to sleep that I would be talking, I would be having full conversations. What the hell is that? Something just popped up here. I didn't touch nothing. I swear I was just here talking. Yeah, that's me. Log in. Bullshit. What the hell? Y'all, this is the way it goes for me. Every time I'm at the point that I really hate technology. Technology is supposed to make everything easier, but it makes things a whole hell of a lot harder. So, like we're trying to get a home equity loan. See, we're just like regular folks trying to get a home equity loan because when we had a flood in Winter Storm Uri, so we've had the downstairs, the insurance company paid to have the downstairs completely redone, and it's wonderful. I can already visualize when we decide to sell in 5 or 6 years, women coming, husband and wife coming with the real estate agent, and she rounds the corner into the kitchen, and I can already visualize her visualizing all the parties she's going to have. We did some things like things that most houses don't have. Now, most, like we put in a wine fridge. A lot of houses have a wine fridge, but like 3 feet from that is a built-in ice maker under counter that makes 25 pounds of ice a day. I guarantee you she is not looking at another house that's got that. Our countertops are not quartz. They are quartzite. What is quartzite, you may ask? Quartz is what they make, quartzite is what they make quartz from. It is the stone exactly the way they cut it out of the mountain. Quartz, they grind up into a powder and mix it all together, and then you get, whatever color or whatever it is. But the quartzite is they cut it out of the mountain and you put it on your countertop. The entire kitchen is covered in quartzite. We moved the double ovens. Actually, it wasn't a double oven at the time. It was an oven and a microwave. And we made it double ovens on the other side of the kitchen. And I know this has nothing to do with anything that we got going on here, but I think you'd find it interesting, and that's what matters, right? And so we moved it on the other side of the kitchen, like 3 feet or so from the gas cooktop. So now, if you are preparing a big meal, you have a lot of people coming over, you've got the oven almost within arm's reach, and you got the cooktop within arm's reach, and then behind you, in the middle of the kitchen, is the island with a built-in under cabinet microwave that the door doesn't like swing open. The entire tray comes out, and you put your stuff in it and push close, and it slides back closed again. Sorry. Yeah, the kitchen is made for entertaining. And then we turned what used to be the dining room into a library. We got a couple of leather chairs in there and got bookcases, built-in bookcases now. And in the room next to that on the front of the house is, it used to be like a formal living room, fireplace, all that kind of stuff. And we turned that into the dining room. So now we have a dining room with a fireplace in it. and we have a table in there that will seat 10. Mrs. Sticks-n-Stonez has a large family. Yeah. So we'll have 25 people for Thanksgiving. And it's generally, now that we've got all this done, it's at our house. Okay. I know you think I may be just like rambling on and not paying attention to what I'm doing, but I have been paying attention. I can multitask, especially when it comes to cigars and alcohol. That is why I am one of the only ones on the internet that does both. I pair. You have some of these other guys, they'll review spirits. Other guys that they'll review cigars. I'm one of the very few that does both. So you need to make sure you're watching and telling all your friends about it. Oh, Ghost. That's actually a good show. I love that show. It's funny. There's only like one person in the cast can actually see the ghosts, and the ghosts are from all different. You got like Vikings and Indians and all kinds of stuff, and only one person in the house can see them. It's kind of a funny show. I don't watch a lot of network TV, but I do actually have network TV now. So for the last several years, I haven't. I moved over to Hulu Live. I think it's like $85 a month. But man, stuff's so expensive. I had Uverse for beautiful moon out tonight. I wish I could show you, but I'm afraid I'll mess stuff up. Let's see here. I can't help. That's right. Maybe you can see it in there. Oh, and without, hopefully I won't get a copyright ding for that. But, I like to push the limits. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and bring the other folks in, and we'll tell you what I've been thinking about while I've been talking. Hey, Stoners, I am back. Here at the half, the stick has kind of morphed somewhat. There's some really nice, like, it's almost like chocolate frosting. Not just like maybe regular chocolate cake, but right around in there. And then with the coffee that's on the palate, they're really blending well with the brandy. And the brandy had some really, like sweet notes to it. And sorry, I was trying not to belch into the microphone. Sorry about that. But there was some caramel and toffee and things like that on the in the brandy, and that really mixed well with the kind of it's just chocolate frosting is about the best way I can come up with it. But I'm gonna have to touch it up for those on the live stream. You can probably tell there's a big hook there right there, and that is not normal. I mean, it may be normal, but you know, anyway, I'm gonna give it a little more fire. We'll see how it goes. And for those of you that are on the audio, I'll go ahead and burn this down the rest of the way, and I'll come back and give you my final thoughts. All right, this episode, the audio of this episode is only going to be a little more than 20 minutes long. That's not bad. At some point, I was up to like 30 because I think I was rambling too much. I am happy to see that there are people watching. If you're saying anything, unfortunately, I can't see that. This goes out to live stream on YouTube and X. And I don't know if I'm supposed to be able to see comments or not. I have the little comments box brought up and it says never miss a comment. Click on a chat message to display it on the screen. But I don't see. That is a really, really good spear. A diffusey, something like that. It's another brandy I've got. I had it's not even a 375 bottle. I think it's like a 200 milliliter bottle. It's a very small bottle of that, but it's more than one glass. I mean, it's like the little bitty, they're probably about that tall, bottles you get, the Jack Daniels, whatever. But this is bigger than that. It could be a 375. I don't, when I've got the Jameson here, it looks bigger than this bottle, and that is a 375. I mean, it looks smaller than that bottle, and that's a 375. I was 200 milliliter. I'm not a big metric person. I grew up in ounces and tablespoons and cups and sprinkles and tads, just a tad of this, so. New helmet technology, gonna keep them safer and gonna let them talk to the coach. Sorry, that went down the wrong pipe. Glad I had some ginger ale, zero sugar there. Kind of wash that down. That may leave a little bit of a mark. I really like to spend more time on the patio this time of year. I mean, I love being in the pool and all that kind of stuff, but I just love being able to sit on the patio, smoke a cigar, have a drink, watch TV, and not have to. I mean, mosquitoes don't really bother me too much, but like Mrs. Sticks-n-Stones, if there's still one mosquito alive, it's going to find her. And I just love spending time with her, sitting out here. We have a drink, maybe drink some wine, watch TV, and just chill. But it's got to be like this, where it's, like 70s during the day and starting to creep down into the 60s and maybe even the 50s at night. Uh, yeah, I love spending time with Mrs. Sticks-n-Stones. We can get into a relationship episode here. You know, we were both retreads. We were both been married before. Uh, hers went a lot better than mine did, but you know, uh, I unfortunately ended up with a demon from hell. But I made up for it with this one. This one is wonderful. We've been married. This next year will be our 10th year. I love her more today than I loved her the first time I met her. As a matter of fact, I'm really one of these people that, if I can give any advice to any of the younger men out there about if you're going to get married and all that, number one, think with this one and not that one, this one and not that one. Definitely, you think with a big head. That's where the intelligence is supposed to be. If something is telling you something's wrong, something's probably wrong. Find a woman that she loves you unconditionally and she is good to you. Doesn't mean you don't have disagreements from time to time, but in Mrs. Sticks-n-Stones and I were together for a couple of years before we got married, and we have never fought, ever, never. We've had disagreements about stuff. We've been miffed at the other one for a few moments, but we're both very terrible fighters, and that's why we don't do it. Our fights would consist of a whole lot of silence, and then "I love you," and "I love you too." And that was it. That's the yeah. It's very, there's no woman in a wife beater hanging out of a double wide trailer going lock his ass up. None of that. So I did it wrong the first time. I did it right the second time, and I try to be very traditional with the anniversaries. I look at the traditional list of things. So if take this year for example, this year was the pottery anniversary, and I'm like, what in the hell am I going to do with that? I ended up buying her a cookie jar, even though typically I don't buy her anything like kitchen related for any, but it was hard to find something that was pottery. This is a cookie jar, and it says the L Rods on the front of it, got our name. And then underneath it, it says, in 100 lifetimes, I'd still choose you. Mic drop. Out of the park. Yeah. And I meant every word of it. Now, that wasn't my creation. I saw it somewhere and I'm like, yes. There's Dak in a hoodie and a baseball cap. That's where he needs to be. But anyway, back to the other thing. So, like, one year was the paper. I'm like, what am I going to do with that? Can't do anything, But what I did was I took the song lyrics from our first dance at the wedding, the reception, and I had a poster made. And until Hurricane or Winter Storm Uri destroyed the downstairs, it hung above our bathtub. And we just haven't gotten it put back up since everything was fixed. There's just too much shit going on. We have two adult kids and two teenagers, and the teenagers, there's a lot going on. They both cheer. They're 1 year behind the other, so the cheers aren't on the same days. So during football season, we sometimes have to go to 2 games a week. Sometimes we're at separate venues where she has to go to one and I have to go to one. But we have made it a priority. And they've even said, you don't have to come to all of ours. Oh, yes, we do. Yes, we do. You're going to look back on us and be like, we don't tell them this, but you're going to look back on this and be like, what they gave up. They would have rather been home watching TV, kicked back in their reclining sofa and my reclining easy chair, watching some show, having a drink, just chatting. But we were at the football stadium. And this time of year, it's great. But about a month ago, the school they go to, the field that's there by the school, it's practice field, but that's where they play the games. It's not varsity. The oldest one, she'll be varsity next year. But, this is like Wednesday night, Thursday night, or whatever. And whoever built this damn stadium or field, whatever, they put the damn bleachers on the east side of the field, facing west. And you have games that start at 5:30 and last till about 7:30. And you are looking into the sun, and in September, it is blazing hot. Like they're out shooting. Not really, but folks, I don't want to get too much into it because we still have to bring the other people in. This has been a really good school. I've been really impressed. Once I get to the end of this, because I had some notes together, and so I'm going to give you some specifics here. You're going to be like, really? Huh. I have to try and find a box of those. And the St. Remy, I mean, I know basically nothing about brandy. I know Hennessy's like the big one. And I've kind of stayed away from that because I thought maybe it was kind of cliche. I'll probably end up having to pair that because that's, I mean, everybody knows Hennessy. Probably knows St. Remy too. I'm not really sure, but that's a very good spirit. I mean, I could sit with a brandy snifter and watch TV and drink a little of that. Oh, and I may have said something about it in the beginning, but we went on this little nature walk in a park that's like all woods. And when I say all woods, there's paths through it, but like the woods are like woods, with upgrown stuff in it. And, we're not talking about you can see forever. You can't see more than about 20 yards. But anyway, the 20-year-old in me convinced me that I could climb a tree. And I was able to climb the tree. I did a very good job getting up there. We have pictures of me standing up in the tree with my arms out. It's very good. But I didn't do so. Messed up a finger. I messed up, got a little cut on the wrist. I landed on a granite slab on my right hip joint. That's a little sore. I've got skin peeled off on my other wrist and both my knees. That determined that I was actually 55 and I need to quit climbing freaking trees. But I'm like, hey, I got up there. I made it. I didn't think I was going to make it. And I got up there without any help. I came down without any help either. Nobody jumped in to catch me. Like, really? But, well, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna bring everybody else in, and and we'll go ahead and get this finished off because we're right about down to the band. So hang on just a second. Hey, stoners! I am the Nica Libre. Actually, not only did it not disappoint, it actually impressed me. This was a very good stick, and it's a very budget-friendly stick. You can get, and I checked this out as I was kind of coming up with my notes for the show. You can get a 5-pack of these for like 20 or 25 bucks at Cigars International or Thompson or wherever you buy them, cigar.com, whatever. You can get a box of 20 for like 60 or $70. Dudes, a box of 20 for like 60 or 70 bucks. And this is a good cigar. I mean, it's not a Padron or an Arturo Fuente, but it's a good cigar. You have 20 of these in your humidor. This is an everyday smoker. It's it's got some nice like coffee and chocolatey notes, and there was some rich kind of oily cashew kind of things going on in there. In the last half, the the cedar and the leather and the cashews kind of and the pepper kind of pulled back, and that chocolate kind of pulled to the front. It was really great. I was, like I said, I was impressed. And this is something I was gonna do it before I brought you on. No, I need to wait. It's not a big thing, but this is actually, when you look at it, you think that there is one band on this cigar, but there's not. And now my fingernails are not able to. Anyway, it's actually two bands together, but they are form cut. I don't think cuted's a word, but they are form cut to fit together and make it look like one band. I mean, that's a lot. It's a lot of work to go through for a cigar that's, you know, $4 or $5 a stick. You get 20 cigars for 60 or $70. You're talking like close to $3 a stick, if my country boy math is right. And it's really good. It's a really great smoke producer the entire time. I only had to touch it up one time because it kind of got a hook on one side of it. But other than that, I mean, it's been a wavy burn, wavy, but not bad. I mean, like normal wavy. Um, I was really impressed. This is the first time I've ever smoked this cigar. I went ahead and bought a box, because of the price. There we go. Hey, I got it. Look at that. All right, and see, for those of you on the live stream. All right, and then here is the second band, and you can see how all the little grooves are cut in it, and it fits the top band. So anyway, I would give this stick. I'd give it like an 82 matchsticks. It's a good stick. It's not not up in the top 10%, 90 or above, but if this is what you just keep around the house to smoke on a daily basis or whatever, your friends will like it. They come over, you give them a cigar, they'll like this one. I guarantee it. And to be a little bit darker wrapper, more of the Habano, uh, it's a very medium strength cigar. It's not overpowering. Pretty much, anybody could smoke this. I always caution people, when you first start in cigars, don't jump right out and do the like really dark leafed cigars. They tend to be a little bit stronger, and you might not have some great experiences with them. start with a Connecticut leaf, a light color, light tan, like an Olive O or G or something like that, and then work your way up. But this would be a really good transition out of those light leaf colors to the little bit darker leaf colors. It'd be a really good one. Now, the St. Remy XO was excellent. Uh, I bought this quite a while ago. I paired it, like I said, I paired it once before. It was a couple of years ago. Uh, it's still really good. I don't, I'm not all that experienced with brandy, so it's hard to say, is this one better than that one and that kind of thing. But just with my knowledge of spirits overall, I'd give this an 85. I mean, it's a really good spirit. It's one that you could, sit down and drink anytime. It's got enough sweetness in it to pair with like desserts and to go with a cigar that's got a little more sweetness to it. But it's also got at 80 proof, it is a little bit, it is a good step where you could also do a little bit stronger cigar, a little bit more peppery cigar, or whatever. I think it'd be really nice. So these are really two great options that are budget friendly that you should try. And I don't make anything off of these two, so this is my feelings. But I hope you've enjoyed spending this time with me as much as I have enjoyed spending this time with you. I hope you hit like, subscribe, share, notify, make sure that you get all the updates and all that kind of stuff. You can find me on Twitter. That's where I am mostly now because there's so much more free speech oriented. They don't ding me for cigars like the other ones do. But I'm on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. Not on TikTok. Stay away from the Chinese trying to steal your face. But tell all your friends about this dude that does this. I'm one of the only ones that does this. Do them together. Uh, so, but until we get to be together again, keep your sticks dry. Stone's cold. Have a great day.